Welcome to Daniel's Inferno. My name is Daniel. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you have a moment, please like, subscribe, share, join the conversation below. I'd love to hear from you. So, unfortunately, today we are going to be talking about a controversy that has been going on recently with Netflix, the Netflix show Cuties. Now, I'm sure you've heard something about this, something somewhere about this at this point, if not at least know people who have strong opinions about this. It's quite controversial. It is not the type of thing that is a middle of the road. It's kind of one way or the other. And we're going to talk about those who accept it and those who are denouncing it and classifying it essentially as child pornography. So, as you can see on my screen, several GOP leaders are calling on the DOJ, to investigate and raise legal action over Netflix's film Cutie. The film plot revolves around 11-year-old Amy, who joins other underage girls in a school dance group called the Cuties and rapidly grows aware of her burgeoning femininity, upsetting her mother and her values in the process. Senator Tom Cotton scolded Netflix's decision to release the French-directed film in the U.S., accusing it of serious crimes for the way it depicts the, quote, sexualization of children. That's an understatement. You can see right there, just on my screen, Tom Cotton, he tweeted this. Like any parent, I find Netflix's decision to peddle child pornography disgusting, and it's criminal. The Department of Justice should take swift action. So the argument in favor of this, and I'm just going to quickly get that off our screen because it's filthy. But the arguments in favor of this are that it raises awareness of child sexualization that goes on in Western cultures, and so people are saying it's hypocritical of them of people to criticize it because they're criticizing it for basically raising awareness on an issue, and they're calling it that issue. So that's kind of the defense being used. Now, I don't know how anyone in any fashion could look at something like that image that was just on our screen and somehow wipe that from our minds enough that we can delve into the plot or we can delve deeply into the serious critical aspects of the movie that we can discuss and debate it. Like, this isn't the Heart of Darkness here, all right? This is a very controversial and disgusting movie. There's no excuse for the sexualization of children, and Netflix's decision to promote the film Cuties is disgusting at best, a serious crime at worst. I urge the DOJ to take action against Netflix for their role in pushing explicit depictions of children in American homes. Jim Banks echoed Cotton's condemnation, calling on the DOJ to bring charges against Netflix for the distribution of child pornography. As you can see, Tim Pool tweeted the fact that Cancel Netflix was trending a few days ago. Um, and this isn't just about the film itself. The poster that was originally used for the film was filthy. It was absolutely the most disgusting and vile thing in the world. And how that was ever a poster that was being used to represent a movie in a positive way. How that ever came to be is so beyond me. So, Ted Cruz also commented on the issue, calling Netflix's production disturbing and announcing that he had sent a letter to Attorney General Bill Barr to investigate whether Netflix, its executives, or the filmmakers violated any federal laws against the production and distribution of child pornography. So, as you can see, there are a lot of senators, congresspeople who have noticed and are really swiftly trying to take action against this. And thank God there are people out there in positions of power and authority that are able to do this for us, that are able to enact the will of the people, the will of the majority. And so far, the will of the majority seems to be that this film is a disgusting and vile uh, creation. Now, for those of you who don't know, we're just going to veer just a little bit off and talk about maps. Now, I'm not talking about a map like a world map or the, map of America. MAPS is actually an acronym. It stands for Minor Attracted Person. So it's actually an acronym that's being peddled as a way to try to legitimize pedophilia. What does minor attracted person actually mean? It means that you're attracted to someone under the age of consent. We already have a word and a description for that. We have laws in place, everything. But there are people out there, especially on certain fringes of the left, that are trying to push maps as some sense of a sexual orientation and not a disgusting, perverted act. And how you can make those mental gymnastics work in your head is so beyond me. I mean, I don't want to be in a headspace where I understand that. I'd have to be really sick. Tulsi Gabbard took to Twitter Friday in concurrence with other U.S. officials taking a stand against Netflix's publication. At Netflix child porn, Cuties will certainly uh, whet the appetite of pedophiles and help fuel the child sex trafficking trades. 1 in 4 victims of trafficking are children. It happened to my friend's 13-year-old daughter. Netflix, you are now complicit. So that was a tweet from Tulsi Gabbard. As we talked about the hashtag trended across Twitter, critics have argued that the film sexualizes children. Netflix issued an apology last month for promotional material for Cuties, saying it was deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork. Rotten Tomatoes showed polarizing scores for the movie, with professional critics rating the film an average score of 88%. In comparison, audience rankings averaged it at 3%. Now, when you actually look at Rotten Tomatoes' scores for these things, at least when I looked at it a couple of days ago, it was something like 30 professional critics and 400 audience scores, if that gives you kind of an idea of the like to dislike ratio. Now, a lot of people who are defending this movie are also bringing up the fact that it won awards and was showcased at the Sundance Film Festival. Now, that's a very world-renowned festival for filmography, awards, everything else. People showcase their movies there to see if they're ready to be published. And so if this, well-renowned and respected film organization gave it the thumbs up, then it must be okay, right? That sounds logical. Well, unfortunately, when we actually look at the Sundance Film Festival people, Sundance co-founder Sterling Van Wagenen sentenced for child sex abuse. Now, this was last year, July 2019. One of the co-founders of the Sundance Film Festival has been sentenced to 6 years to life in prison after pleading guilty to sexually abusing a child. This individual was convicted for touching a young girl on 2 occasions between 2013 and 2015 when she was 7 and 9. The sentencing judge said in court that he hoped the parole board will keep the 72-year-old in prison longer than the 6 years minimum. I hope so too. In addition to co-founding Sundance with Robert Redford, he was a filmmaker who produced these movies that we're not going to give him any sort of anything for because he's a pedophile. And yeah, if anything, he, my opinion, deserves a very bad fate. It's clear that any kind of apology I can make is meaningless at this point, Van Wagenen said, so I am not even going to attempt one. I want you all to know I feel the consequences of what I've done. I feel them deeply. Yeah, because you got caught. The Sundance Institute earlier this year denounced Van Wagenen's behavior. So, okay, he did this to one person. Okay, that's terrible, obviously. But is this like a pattern, or, is this possibly some sort of pattern, or, oh no, this gentleman here. Uh-oh. Sean Escobar had been waiting for the moment for more than a quarter century. Over the course of an hour in September, Mr. Escobar sat at a dining table with Sterling Van Wagenen, a founder of Sundance Film Festival and a respected figure in the Mormon community, and asked him about a moment that had bothered Mr. Escobar since he was 13. Why, he asked, had Mr. Wagenen touched his genitals? Van Wagenen apologized and said that he had been going through difficulties in career and his marriage, that he had struggled with depression. He sounded sincere and penitent. He pledged again and again that he had never done anything like that before or since. He thanked him and showed him out. Then he walked over a plotted plant, retrieved the iPhone he had hidden there, and tapped the red button to stop the recording. Um, so, how many people did this guy go after? We know that these type of people, they don't stop at one. They don't. They continue and continue and continue until they're caught and stopped. They're sick. They're sick in the head. And people who are supporting this Netflix film are also sick in the head. It's very simple, in my opinion. This film is, and it cannot be described in any other way other than a map movie, a movie for people with that kind of defilement in their soul. And I don't know why it's been pushed to everyone across the world through Netflix, the most subscribed platform out there. We already know that many people have either canceled or threatened to cancel their Netflix membership. Let me tell you, you can put my name on that list as well. When there's 75,000 other streaming platforms out there, I don't need one that's going to support something this disgusting, this debased, and this degrading to children. We need to protect our children. Our youth are our future. This is not the way to do it. Let me know what you think down in the comments.